All right, this is episode 83 of the Homestead Shop Talk podcast with Al from Lemon Acres, Ben from Holler Homestead, and myself, Jason from Sow the Land. And we made it, well, for me, it's about 48 days till we get our first broiler chickens.
Ooh,
Counting down the days.
Counting down is going to come quick.
Yep.
So how's everyone been? Everyone's all right?
Doing good.
Doing great. Kind of tired after this weekend, but doing good.
Yeah. How's the weather, Al?
Cold.
Cold and miserable, or just cold?
Yeah, just cold. It was cold and windy. It was 13 today and sunny for a high, so that felt nice. I think we're getting down. Let's see. I think we're supposed to get down to like -6 today, and then 13 for high again tomorrow. And for the next couple of days, we'll be in the teens and single digits, or below zero single digits at night. So
Wow.
it's gonna be a little frosty.
That's cold.
Yep.
Mm-mm. Yeah, it's been cold here. It's been
You're
cold
right.
this week.
Our lows are still warmer than your highs right now.
I warmer than our highs. I believe it. Where have you
Although
guys been?
This past weekend it was like beautiful weather, but starting today, like today and the rest of the week, it's going to be. We won't get above freezing until I think like Thursday or Friday.
Okay. So this must be like the Arctic blast right now. It's going through the East Coast, basically.
Yeah, it's supposed to snow. I think tomorrow at like noon. Recording this is Monday. They're calling for like up to 6 inches of rain in New Orleans, which is like crazy.
6 inches of rain or 6 inches
Or
of snow?
6 inches of snow.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, man, like that's crazy. It'd be kind of cool to see, but man, that far south, they aren't set up to deal with snow.
I heard this weekend, so I don't know if it's changed, but it said all 50 states should have could have snow on the ground by this week. And they said northern Florida and even parts of Hawaii.
Wow.
Damn.
So I don't know if it's changed since this weekend, but like that'd be pretty wild.
Yeah, it would. Man, it's gonna damper my fence building.
Oh, you have to procrastinate some more.
Shucks. I know.
You guys got any snow coming?
I don't
Nope.
think so.
No.
Yeah.
It's gonna snow farther south than us. Like it's all
Okay.
along the Gulf. It's gonna snow. I think like it's snowing south of like South Carolina, kind of a deal. So kind of weird.
Mhm. It was
Yep.
clear and sunny today. So as long as it's sunny, it's nice.
Yeah, we had a full sunshiny day. We don't get those very often in the winter, so that felt good to have the sun.
Yeah. I thought it was gonna be a lot colder this weekend, but
So did you guys get to use the trailer this weekend, or were you able to hang the pig outside?
We used it briefly. It got down to, what was it, Friday night? Was it 34 was the low?
Okay.
30, 36 or something like that. Like it wasn't freezing, but it was still kind of chilly.
Yep.
So during the heat of the day, we stuffed the pig in the cool trailer, and then by the end of the day, kind of the end of class on Friday, we pulled it out and hung it up.
That's cool.
yeah, why don't you go, Ben, and start talking about your week?
Yeah, I was going to
Busy
say,
week.
maybe we should like clear it up for anybody who's not in the know.
That's right.
This weekend was our hand-hewn class. We hosted Doug and Andy, Hand-Hewn Farm. They came all the way down from Ohio and put on a charcuterie class. So for 2 years now, I've taught classes. Just it didn't work out with booking them. We've had them. This was the third time they've been out, and it just didn't work out. So last year and this year, I taught classes, but we were able to book them, and so we knew they were coming out in January. So all year we've been waiting for this, and the class finally happened. These guys are cool. Couple of hipsters from Ohio that have a love for cured meats. So the class they teach, it's a little bit more advanced than the class I teach. I'm teaching how to get the pig from your, pig pen or wherever they're at into your freezer. They teach the how to do it in style and come up with some really good like prosciuttos and capicolas.
They know all the verbiage.
Yeah,
Like Italian words.
they're so knowledgeable.
Yeah.
It's really like kind of humbling when they break out all the big words. And they know what was really interesting. One of the students in our class was a doctor, and I would say they met their match in, as far as being like knowledgeable with names of certain parts of the body. But generally, it's like textbook listening to them. They know all the what's the name of heartstrings? Like, it's the little strings that are inside of a heart.
Yeah.
Names like that. All the little. This is. I see. I'm blanking on any of the names.
I mean, all the innards of a pig, of like what this is and what that compared to what is it on us? Yeah.
All the anatomy.
Yeah. There you go. Anatomy.
It was pretty. They're both pretty knowledgeable when it comes to anatomy and all of the terminology, as well as, gosh, you can name any random sausage or cured meat, and they will not only have heard of it, but they'll know how to make it. They'll tell you different ways to make it. I mean, it's crazy. Really, really knowledgeable couple dudes. They're good guys. We like Doug and Andy. They're really good guys. Really fun time, and they put on a really good class. So this class is it's a 3-day class. It's kind of a long weekend. It's Friday through Sunday. Kind of like half a day on Sunday, really. Day 1 is the outside work. Day 2 is all of the, the breaking down of the animal, getting your primal cuts and, turning it into, ready to cure and stuff like that. And then Sunday, the 3rd day, that's when you make what you're going to make. You get your bacon under cure, you get your capicolas, your lonzas, your prosciuttos, you get all that, curing, and then they break out a whole bunch of their cured meats that they brought with them that they make, get out the slicer and slice it all up, and we have a massive feast on the table, just like the world's biggest charcuterie board. They fill up almost the entire table with all good stuff. There's not just cured meats. There's crackers and there's bread and there's fruit and there's nuts, and I mean, you name it, it's on the table. Cheeses, all sorts of fancy cheeses.
They had like stuff there. What was it like? I've seen some stuff there that were like 2 years old, at least. Some cured stuff.
I thought he said one of the culatellos was like 3 or 4 years old.
Oh wow, yeah. I mean, it was great.
It's pretty cool. Cool thing about doing stuff like this is, as long as you do it right, I mean, you can hold on to this meat. If you don't eat it, you can hold on to it for a long time. That has not been our case. All of the meat we have cured, we have consumed as soon as it's ready. So yeah, it was a really good time. It was really cool. It's always a good time having classes like this, getting to meet all the students. I will say this group seemed very gung-ho, like here to learn, here to get their hands on stuff. I guess it's a little bit of behind the scenes stuff. At one point, I think it was Doug came up to me and was like, so we're kind of BSing our way to like fill out the day because stuff is going so fast. I think this was on Saturday. He was like, normally we have to ask people to cut stuff up. We demonstrate and then we hand it out to the class. We're like, hey, would you mind cutting this up? He said, as soon as it hits the table and we say go, it's done. Everybody's just Johnny on the spot getting everything done. So like, we're kind of running out of stuff to do, and it's not even dinner time yet. So I thought that was kind of cool. That means that's a gung-ho group right there. Everybody's ready and willing. So that was kind of cool. And they were able to fill out the weekend properly. But, having taught a few classes myself, at one point on Friday, the saw came out. So we were ready to split the carcass. And after that, you wash it off one more time and then stick it in the cooler. And I happened to look at the clock and it wasn't even lunchtime yet. And it was like, man, like the last time we were here, we weren't to this stage until, I don't know, like 2:00 or something like that. So we were definitely making really good time the entire weekend. So it was cool. It was really cool. One of the things that we didn't get to do, we didn't get to make blood sausage, which was kind of a bummer. The way the shot went down, the shot was a good shot, but the position of the pig, they just couldn't get in there to harvest the blood for the blood sausage. And so they didn't catch nearly enough to make the blood sausage, which that's all right. I'm not a huge fan of the blood sausage, but it is kind of cool because that's one more thing that you can harvest from the animal. It's just kind of
blood
tricky
was just coming from the blood was coming straight from the bullet. It just started coming out of there.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy.
It was weird. It was
not sure how much detail people want to hear, but yeah,
that was why
the shot was like perfect, and it must have ruptured a main artery because the wound was cleared by the blood coming out, so it made it kind of hard to harvest. But other than that, we made liverwurst. That was something we did. I think we did that Saturday afternoon, and we used all of the organs. It was either Friday or Saturday. I forget. I think it was Saturday afternoon. The liverwurst, they use all of the organs from, that's the kidneys, the liver, the heart, the spleen, put it all together, cut up some extra meat, add some fat and some spices and seasoning and stuff like that. And we made the sausage. Sorry, I had to lean over and ask Meg real quick. We did a different thing this time. I've had liverwurst before, and I personally am not a big fan of it. Tastes very organy, which I don't know. It's not my thing. But this time we did something different. We made liverwurst, but I took one of them and they had me smoke it, which then makes it into a sausage called Braunschweiger, it's just smoked liverwurst. Total game changer. Like, man, I ate so much of that stuff. It tasted so good. Just adding some smoke to it. So we, they can't do certain things all on their own. And so the liverwurst, they sous vide, and it wasn't done until like 8 o'clock, 8:30, something like that. And then, I started smoking the Braunschweiger as class was finishing up. So I had to kind of stay and finish that. So I was kind of busy babysitting some liverwurst Saturday night, which that was fine. But other than that, yeah, it was a great time. Like, it really was a great time. Everybody, by Sunday, everybody was talking and, laughing a little bit more. And then we had our big charcuterie feast, and everybody went home. And I don't know why this is. Jason, I don't know if you feel the same way. Were you tired from just standing all day for 3 days? Because when I'm teaching, I don't know, like, I'm not that tired. I was dragging all day today. I felt like, and all I did was just stand and watch. I don't know. I was
sore.
wiped.
My back was sore when I woke up this morning. Well, I think if you're just like standing there most of the time, then I think that's what's tough. But if you're like walking around, like, that helps, I think. But yeah, it's pretty much just, you're standing there or sitting down, or listening to what they're talking about, and talking to other people. Yeah, I agree.
So yeah, other than that,
plus it's all the information
tired.
that you're trying to retain, all this information,
Yeah, it is kind of like drinking from a fire hose. They have such a wealth of knowledge. Talking to them, I think what's crazy, they've been doing this for 15 years now. That's a long time if you think about it. Like, that's a really long time. And I would say they're more knowledgeable now than they were the first time we had them over or the second time we had them over. And it's kind of cool. Like, you can tell these guys really do have a passion for what they're doing. They are truly artists in their craft. So it's always a good time. Glad we could have them out. I don't know if we'll book them for next year or we'll make it like bi-yearly or something like that. I don't know. I'm going to try to raise out some pigs and have like a really, really big one the next time they come out. Like, it'd be really cool if I could break their record and have like a 1,200-pound hog. Like, that would be really cool. But I don't know.
Record.
The idea of feeding out a hog for like 5 years just to get it that big, I don't know. That sounds expensive.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
know.
it does.
All charcuterie.
Did you get to try anything like a new charcuterie cut this time that you haven't before?
Yeah, actually, it was kind of a hit within our family. All the main one that all of the boys and Meg, like everybody was talking about today, was one called Speck, I think is how you say it. Basically, it's just a smoked ham kind of a thing. The way they explained it, you just take a prosciutto, go through the normal steps, curing it, and then you just smoke it before you dry it. And it's not like a real heavy smoky flavor, but it does change the flavor enough to where it's like it adds a lot of flavor. So that was one. It was like all you have to do is smoke it. I can do that. So
Where you smoke it and then finish hanging it in the house?
yeah, you basically you take the meat, you cure it, which is putting it under salt. After the curing process, then it's ready to hang, and that would be like the normal process. Well, before you hang it to dry and become what it eventually will become, you just add one extra step and you smoke it. You cold smoke it, as long as you want and get as much smoke on it as you want, and then you hang it to dry. So I don't know. I think that would be, and you can do it with anything. I was reading in one of my curing books today. You can literally do it with any cured meat you've got. It'll change the name of what it is. You take a prosciutto and smoke it, and you call it speck. You can take a capicola and smoke it, and it changes the name. So it just depends what region of the world you're in. Somebody's got a name for it. I'm sure, there's nothing new under the sun. I'm sure people everywhere have tried doing everything to every cut of meat. So, but yeah, that was the only one that I haven't tried yet, and like I really liked it. So we're gonna add that to the repertoire too. But other than that, there wasn't actually a whole lot that went on the week prior. It was all just prep work. Meg does a lot of cooking ahead of time to prepare for the class, and so there was a lot of meal prep going on before the class, and having 3 days, that's a lot of meals to prep. That's 3 meals a day. That's a bunch of meals. So one thing that I did think was cool was being able to just go shopping in our freezer, and we had all the meat for the class for all the meals. Like that was a cool feeling. Meg brought in a lug of all the meat that she was going to cook for the class, and I was looking at it and I was like, "Hey, Meg, you realize this would be like, $400 to $600 worth of meat if we went and bought the equivalent?" And she kind of started looking at it. It's like, well, yeah, if I had to go to Whole Foods and buy, the pork and the chicken and everything that we did for the class, yeah, that would be very expensive. So that was kind of cool. It's a blessing to be able to raise your own meat and have it available. Like it's cool. So yeah, other than that, that was kind of my weekend. It was a good time. It was a really good time. I think the high of the weekend is starting to drop off a little bit now, starting to come down, back to reality.
Yeah, I had to go to the store and buy some cheap meat and eat that for a minute to.
You had to go to the store and get some commercially cured meats.
Yeah, I need to calm down for a minute. Yeah, from a high that was like eating all that cured meats. I was like, man, it was. I had never. So last time I went to this workshop was at Ben's, and this was a couple years ago, and that's when we got all snowed in, basically, and so I didn't come to the third day.
Which you missed out.
Yeah. So it came this time, and man, it did not disappoint. Yeah. What was that one that you smoked?
Now I can't think of the name.
It was all innards. It was like the
Yeah,
pancreas.
the Braunschweiger. It's the smoked
Yeah.
liverwurst.
That one was really good. That one stands out for sure. Because also typically, like for us, when we butcher pigs, like we don't typically on a pig save the innards, like the heart,
Us
the liver.
either.
We just don't. The beef, yeah, for sure. But for the pork, we don't. And seeing them do it and seeing them make that, which seems very doable. It didn't look like super overwhelming to do what he did. And then smoke it like that made it even better. I was like, it almost kind of tastes like bologna. If you had to.
Yeah, I would say that. I think what's funny is I ate it again today after it's been in the fridge, all night. Had it for lunch. Honestly, it tasted a lot more like a hot dog today. It's like the smoke flavor kind of mellowed into the sausage. I don't know. It was still really good, but
Yeah.
it tastes a little bit more like a hot dog than it did yesterday.
Right. Yeah, that one and that one we had at the end, which was I don't even know I don't know the names of these. But
You mean the spreadable one that was red?
yeah, he said it was like 80% fat, 20% meat. So
Okay. I see. I'm looking over here at Meg. I was like, do you remember the name? It was called Induja.
yes.
Don't ask me to spell it. It's got like
Indugja.
Yeah, I'm not going to repeat that. Like it's
Induja.
Induja or something like that. Like I've never heard of it, but yeah, they said it was 80% fat, and I was like, what?
Yeah, because I was like, I got a lot of fat from these coonies. I need a fat recipe. Give me a fat recipe. And he was like, I wasn't gonna open this, but he's like, check
That's
this
funny.
out. And it was great. It almost kind of tastes like chorizo.
It did.
Like I pictured that would probably be awesome on a pizza. And it was spreadable, so it was like it wasn't super hard, so you could put it on a cracker or a piece of bread or something. Yeah, everything was great. I mean, homemade sourdough, homemade crackers from Amy, right?
Yeah, huge shout out to Amy.
Yeah,
we actually
I
had
didn't know she
someone
listened to
cancel, and she's actually in our Azure group. She's a local, and she was like all bummed out once she heard we were doing this class. She was like, "Oh, I'd love to come." Well, we had someone cancel, and so Meg hit her up, and she's like, "Hey, we had someone cancel. Do you want to come?" She's like, "I'll rearrange my schedule and make it work." Well, she shows up. We call her Sourdough Amy because she's like that's her thing, and she makes sourdough. She shows up day one, and she's brought fresh, like it was baked that morning sourdough. Mind you, class starts at 9, so that means she got up to cook some sourdough early. And then on Sunday, she showed up with fresh baked sourdough crackers just for the charcuterie. So big shout out to Amy. She was a good one to have at the class. Anybody who brings sourdough is welcome here.
Yeah. She actually went to one of our pig classes too, which is great. I mean, I think any opportunity you have to go to multiple classes, I think is a plus. Even no matter if you've done it, no matter if you're the one teaching a class, no matter, if you taught a class before, or if it seems like maybe you know what you're doing, but going to a class, you're always going to learn something, no matter what, no matter how many times you've done it, there's always something there to be learned. So I think, any opportunity is great.
For sure. I know after, I've killed quite a few pigs between the last time they were here and now, and I'm pretty comfortable in my ability now, but it was still nice to see someone do it through different eyes now. The last time they were here, I wasn't very confident in my ability, and I mean, I was confident enough to do it, but you second guess yourself. And then seeing them now, it's like, okay, all right. They're doing it the same way they were 2 years ago, and I've been doing it the same way. So Like it was good. It was really good.
We never had the charcuterie board when we had them up here. That was probably
Oh no!
6 and 7 years ago. So I wonder when they started doing that.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, I asked him about that. I don't know when they started doing that, but he said at first they weren't doing that.
Yep.
And then I think they were doing it somewhere, and some lady just asked him, "Hey, can I put some cured meats out there at the end, for people?" And they liked the idea, and they just kept going with it, I guess.
I wonder if she went to the grocery store and just got a platter of cured meats, and they were like, "Oh, this is not cool. We got to show people what it's really like."
Right. But I mean, even still, it would have taken them a year or two, at least, to build up.
Yeah,
big
that
enough
too.
stock to bring them out.
Right.
It doesn't just happen overnight.
That's true. Yeah. It would take them some time to get up to that point.
Yep.
But yeah, it was cool, man. So we had so we went there too, and we're spending 3 days with the Hollers. We're not sick of you, Ben. Okay.
I was going to ask, did the boys wear poor Penelope out, running her all over the place? Every time I looked up, I see them running across the property somewhere.
Oh, heck no, man. She loves it. She's the only one here, so whenever she goes over there, she's like excited. She didn't have to hang out with a couple old people over here. So yeah, now she loves it, and yeah, we had a good time, and yeah, thanks to Meg for the cooking. I know it takes a ton of work, and it was great. All of it was awesome. And yeah, overall, just meeting the people there was cool, and basically what Ben said. I mean, the cured meats was awesome. Trying all those different meats was super good. Yeah, it was just overall great. And the weather was perfect too, I thought. It was cold, but not like super terrible.
Kind of like right now, it's 19 degrees, and it's only like the sun has only been down for a little bit.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be, I assume it'll be like 13 degrees in the morning when I get up. The idea of having a class with the temperatures down that low, where the high doesn't even get above freezing, that'd be miserable. I would say having the little warm snap was actually ideal. Like it was pretty nice. Like people weren't sitting there shivering.
Yeah. And then, well, so that was the weekend, and then that week, trying to think what I did. So I had to take down some trees. That's not one of my biggest strong points is taking down a tree. This tree, I mean, it wasn't, I don't know, it was probably like 8 inches wide. It wasn't terrible, like a huge tree, but it was taller than my house. I would say this is one of the bigger trees I've ever took down by myself. It was 2 of them. And I needed to take down these trees just to finish this fencing, because I'd rather it fall down now than on my fence. So, first tree went down perfect, right? The direction that it fell was perfect. And then there was another tree right next to it that I wanted to take down. And so I was like, all right, cool. I did that. Perfect. And then the second tree, I wanted to go down the same way, but instead of going down the same way, it went down totally opposite way. And like, it's almost kind of by the street. I didn't want to go over that way, because what if a car was going by, and I didn't know if it would go on the street. Luckily, it just missed the street. It wasn't that tall. If it was like maybe 6 feet taller, it definitely would have went across the street. But it didn't end up too bad. I ended up just chopping it up. But yeah, I was like, yeah, I don't know how people do it, but I don't know what happened.
That is actually like one of the more stressful jobs, is when you're trying to take down a tree, figuring out how tall it is and getting it to fall where you want. It's stressful. Like, it can be really stressful.
Yeah, plus I think it was a little windy. I think that might have done it, because I cut it the same way, and there was a breeze that came through, and I noticed it like went backwards like a little bit, and I was like, it's just keep going. So anyways, I got those out of the way, and that was beginning of the week. And then I know what we did when we got home from the workshop. So depending on who we've talked to some friends that, they've kind of lived out in the area for a while, and you talk to them about, hey, do you know if anyone has tapped maple trees for to make syrup in North Carolina over here, and they were like, oh yeah, we know some people who do that all the time, and then you talk to an old timer, you ask them the same question, they're like, I never heard of anyone doing that, So it was kind of like, depending on who you ask. And so we were just kind of, doing some research about it since we've been living here. And we're trying it. Lorraine bought some stuff to tap maple trees. And yesterday we had 3 different trees, because we had went out there like a year ago and marked some trees that we think that they might be good to do. And I don't know, we'll see what happens. It's one of those things where you're not sure if it doesn't seem like it would work, but we're gonna try it and see if they actually do.
How long are you freezing up for right now?
Well, it's at night. I mean, right now is probably one of the coldest weeks. I mean, it's like 19 degrees. Today was like a high of 35.
Were they tapped today?
Yesterday.
So did you check to see if any of the sap ran?
We checked. I waited it was about 24 hours, and I checked earlier today, and there was none.
I know people are tapping right now around here, and I think I saw some like southern New Hampshire. They've already gotten some sap on the warmer days. So I don't know if there's like a thought like it's got to freeze for so long or what the deal is.
Yeah, I thought maybe it was too cold, because I was reading it's got to be like 40 degrees or so. Like, it can't be too cold, then the tap won't flow out.
Right. It's got to get warm. It's got to get above freezing.
Yeah.
For the sap to stop flowing.
Yeah, I want to say our neighbor did that last year or the year before. They went around and tapped some trees, but they were too late. I don't think they tapped them until, I don't know, February or something like that, and they were already too late. So
okay.
I know you got to hit it pretty early around here. So I don't know. I'd be curious. I would like to hear the rest of this saga.
Yeah, for sure. I'm definitely videoing it and filming it and see if it works. I don't know. It could be a total bust, but
I think you'll get something. It'll just depend on how often or how many times you're actually able to get the sap to run.
Yeah, I was like, I just want enough for one waffle. That's it. One waffle.
It's like a lot. Isn't it like a 50 to 1 reduction?
It's a lot.
Yeah, 40 to 50 to 1.
It's a lot.
I think what kind of maple tree.
Yeah, it would be a ton. Yeah.
And like you can do birch, and I think birch is 80 to 1.
Wow.
There was someone I was talking to. They said you can tap just about any tree. They said you can do black walnut. And I was kind of curious about that. Like, what would that taste like?
I've heard that. Yeah. I don't know. It'd be interesting, though. It'd be cool if you could. So yeah, we just did that, and then just hung out with the Hollers for 3 days, and that was about it.
So you said you got your meat birds coming in 48 days?
Yep.
How big's the first batch?
First batch we're just doing 60.
Okay.
And then the second batch after that is gonna be 150.
150.
Yeah.
How many batches total?
I think we're doing 5.
Of 150 after that each batch?
No. 150 is the biggest one.
Okay.
And then we're doing 60 after that, yeah.
Gotcha. That's still a lot, yeah.
Yeah, I'm still trying not to get in over my head and like go nuts. And that's what's kind of hard right now. Because I want to go nuts. But I probably shouldn't.
So
Yeah.
it'll be interesting. I've heard of farmers who, since the election, have like sold out of everything, and they're talking about like upping their game this year because I think it's going to be
Really?
a lot more sales and stuff. So they don't know if it's because of the whole RFK with Make America Healthy Again and people are more aware of their food, or if it's to do with like the bird flu and people are like scared that stuff's going to happen again, or what it is. But
Oh, right.
some of the farmers have already actually sold out of all their meat for the season. So
Really?
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. I
It's gonna be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah, it would be. I mean, that might be true. I don't know. It does seem like that bird flu is kind of going around.
Yep.
You're starting to see more YouTubers talk about it. So
Yep.
I guess it's happening. That's the news, right? Like that's how people get their news out of from YouTubers.
Hopefully it doesn't affect the shipping of chicks much this year. That'll be like the real thing that puts a damper on. I know last year there was some states that I think had issues that weren't letting chicks get shipped in different times of the year, but we were able to get our chicks all the time.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, I still got a lot of stuff to do. I'm trying to finish up this fence line here, and then so I can move on and do some stuff for these chickens that are coming.
So you got to build a new brooder, or like what do you got to build for them?
Yeah, I'm gonna need to be a bigger brooder. I'm going back and forth of concreting my little shed. I kind of don't want a concrete because I just don't want a concrete, but at the same time, it's like, what do I do? Build more little brooders? I mean, I don't want to build all these little brooders everywhere because I kind of outgrew that.
Yep.
So I might have no choice but to concrete.
It is nice having a walk-in brooder.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of concreting, could you have that, you could put them in the smaller barn. Could you use your rubber mats for a year and try that out?
That's not a bad idea at all.
Yeah, I guess I could do that. And then just have the rubber mat as the floor.
As the floor, and then just put your bedding on top of that.
And then you put like, because I'm probably gonna make some kind of box still.
Yep.
Because it's not a enclosed shed, right? Like
right.
Rats and critters still could get in it. So it's not like it's not tight, critter proof. So I'm thinking it's still going to be basically a giant box inside of there.
Yep. And
then maybe just be floorless, and then just the floor rubber. Maybe. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe. The floor is not level. That's another reason. Maybe.
Gotcha.
So it'd probably be like that.
Chicks don't care.
I'm saying like for rubber mats.
Oh.
If I just have like a 4 walls, it might be like a, you know what I mean, like a indent.
Yep.
Or not level, and something could crawl in there.
Gotcha. Yeah, where your like box would sit on, you're saying wouldn't be flat.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, but that's a good idea though. I didn't think of that one. I do have a ton of rubber mats. Yeah, I'm gonna look into that. Yeah, thanks for saying that. That might be good to do for a little while instead of concreting it. Because I'm also picturing eventually maybe just getting a bigger shed there. And it would suck if I had to like demolish some concrete too.
Right, yeah, that wouldn't be any fun.
But
now, is there a concrete floor in there now? Is it all dirt?
No, it's just dirt.
It's just dirt. What about your big barn? Is that a concrete floor? And all of it?
The big barn is a concrete.
Okay.
I thought about putting them in there in one of the stalls. But
got all the stalls cleaned out now. Like, might work out.
No, it would, but I don't know. I kind of didn't want to put animals in there.
Giant horse barn that he doesn't want to put animals in. Come on, Jason.
Yeah. That's my barn. That's for my tools. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that it is already concreted. Yeah, I know. I know. And who knows? Maybe I might put them in there, but I like them in the little barn because it's like this. It's like right in the middle of our property, and it's out there, and they literally go from there outside. You know, it's just a more convenient spot. Because we did have them in a stall when we first moved, and then we moved them out there. And I
They're
like them
definitely
better
a lot closer to the grass out there.
Yeah, and that's why we got electricity there now, and that was the reason why I wanted that. But yeah, I don't know. I got decisions to make.
You got 48 days to do it.
Yeah,
Actually, you got less because you got to build your brooder before they come.
right.
Yep. So you probably got like 20 days to make your mind up.
Yeah, I know. And I thought, just put them in a chicken tractor. What if I just put them all in a chicken tractor and just put a light in there? I've done that before.
Have you?
Yeah. But then you might get that random snow or something. Who knows?
Yeah, for heavy rain and.
I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do. Stay tuned to find out. So what about you, Al? What's going on this week?
This week we've been working on getting the barn addition finished up, and we're getting the area done for the Highland cattle to calf in. So we're calling it our maternity ward. So that way, when they go to have their babies this summer, we'll be able to have a place for them if we need to. We'd rather have them outside, but if we need to have a place to bring them into, we want to be able to be all set up and ready for that. So we started working on that, got that all enclosed. The snow, it's been cold, so we've been dealing with the cold. We haven't sometimes wanted to work outside because it's been so cold and windy. There's been no sun, so today was the first day, probably in like a week, that we had like much sun. So it's just when it's gray out and it's windy and it's cold, it's sometimes miserable to work. So some of the days I pushed off working, like doing electrical wiring isn't any fun when it's like 20 or below 20 degrees outside. So a couple of days in the afternoon it warmed up to, I'd say, probably almost 30. So I was like, okay, I'll stay outside, I'll get my wiring done, work with all, I don't know, I hate working with gloves on.
Yeah.
So like doing wiring with gloves on is not any fun.
I have not found the perfect glove for that.
No.
For intricate work.
Right. I don't know if there is any for the intricate work. It's like,
yeah.
And then if it's metal, like if you're touching like metal wires or like a metal outlet box, it's like, oh, this is just so much worse. But
yeah.
So I will say, when it's that cold out and I'm working outside, like when you guys are outside and it's cold, I know it's not as cold, but it's cold to you guys. Do you sleep better at night? Like a lot of the nights, if I'm outside working, I'll like fall asleep on the couch at like 8 o'clock.
Yep.
And I just
same here.
If it's cold out?
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
I'd much rather be cold out for that purpose.
Right.
I don't know what it is. If, like, you're out in it, you come inside, as soon as you start getting like all warm, I don't know. As soon as my extremities warm up, that's the first thing I want to do is fall asleep.
Right. I got a ring I've been wearing, and it like tracks like your sleep and your heart rate and stuff like that. And so like when I'm sleeping, especially after it's been cold out, like I'll pass out and it's like, you're a sleep ninja. You have like really good deep sleep. And I'm like, it's just the cold. It's making me sleep good. I guess I can't complain.
It's a time of season, maybe.
Time of season.
Hibernating season.
Like the week before when it hasn't been cold, my sleep's not good, even though it's still winter time. So it's when it's like extremely cold out and you're just outside for some reason, it makes you sleep good.
Before I forget, Al, we had a bunch of your coffee this weekend, and that pretty much, I lived on your coffee all weekend, man. So thank you.
You guys got any more left? You got to be getting low.
We still have some.
Out of that 5-pound bag, people were laughing about that. People have laughed about that at every single class. They're like, was he worried you were going to run out? I was like, I don't know, but yeah, we're good. Actually, I think that big bag, we probably have about 1.5 pounds in it. So
Okay, so you're almost out.
we did pretty good. So it's a 5 pound bag. We did 4 classes, and we got about 1.5 pounds left. Realistically, that means one of the classes we did, everybody was slacking. So
Right.
we should only have 1 pound left if we're drinking 1 pound a class.
I don't think you should have any left. I probably go through 5 pounds of coffee at least a month, if not more.
Usually just me. If I'm the only one drinking coffee, our subscription to our coffee place, Meg has it set to 5 pounds a month, and that's like I drink that. So yeah, like
Wow.
5 pounds a month, that's all right for me. But I mean, you got to think this is 10, 12 people over 2 to 3 days. Like that's pretty good.
Yeah, they
There
were
it is.
drinking. We had to kept filling it up, and as soon as you fill it up, people were just filling up their cups. So
3 refills.
yeah,
Hey, I will say, like, the kids were actually kind of griping because the older boys drink coffee, and Brett comes in. He's like, "Man, what the heck?" He goes, "I would come in, I would see the coffee pot was empty, and then I'd see, he'd tell me, he's like, I see you over there, like, making coffee." I was like, "All right, I'll come back in 5 minutes when it's done, and I'll get a cup of coffee." He's like, "Then I'd show up, and it would be empty again." I was like, "Yeah, like, what can I say? Like, I'd make a pot of coffee." Everybody would turn around, grab a cup, and there's a gone empty pot.
Like, we've just been trying to figure out our planning for next year for farming, just kind of like what we want to do, what we want to expand. So I don't know if any of you guys listened to the inauguration today, but I know Trump was talking about making America healthy again, kind of a little bit. So it's like, I don't know, it's gonna be interesting to see like what are there different laws that go into effect. Like I know Thomas Massey's excited. Are they gonna put the Prime Act through? Are they gonna put a different amendment, like a food amendment through in the Constitution? What's gonna happen this year? And how will that make changes? I know people are talking about all the deportation stuff, and some people are afraid that if he starts deporting a lot of people, that we won't have workers in the food industry. So there's just like I think there's just a lot of things out there like getting thrown around that like could be, couldn't be, but I think we'll see some kind of change in the food system. But what will it be like? And will it be better for small farmers and more people looking for local food?
That's
Yeah, I
something
hope
I'm
so.
actually
Yeah.
curious about. Like, anytime they start getting political with our food systems, that's when it's like, all right, you need to pay attention to this. So that's something I'm watching fairly closely. So like, we'll see.
might have to order more chickens.
So Gina just sent me this. I don't know how good it's going to come up. So I don't know if this was in DC today, but that's Joel Salatin with Thomas Massey at the Maha Ball. And Thomas Massey says, I've never seen this farmer in a suit before, but here he is, Joel
Wow.
Salatin at the Maha Ball.
Where's that at?
The Maha Ball. So I don't know if that was in DC today after the inauguration.
Okay. Yeah, I never seen him in a suit.
So
Yeah, it looks weird seeing
posted.
Salatin in a suit.
I know.
that was posted 12
Is that
minutes
real?
ago.
Is that AI?
It was posted 12 minutes ago. This is Monday night.
Okay.
So I don't know if Joel Salatin might have been at the inauguration today. I don't know where that was taken.
Wow.
But I think changes are coming.
Yeah,
So
that's great, man.
it'll be
I gotta look
interesting.
that picture up. Yeah,
Gina just sent it. It just went out. She must have just seen
Oh,
it on
really?
Instagram or something.
that's
And then
funny.
I saw something come across on our computers as we're talking. I had a text message from her. It said something about Thomas Massey, so I opened it. So I think it's going to be a good and exciting year for everything.
Yeah.
Yep, same here.
Did you ever figure out your feed situation?
I have not.
Yeah.
I haven't, I'm still looking for a silo. I haven't found a silo for a good price yet.
Yeah.
I think if I can find a used silo for a decent price, we'll go with bulk. If not, I'll probably end up going and buying like 2 or 3 tons at a time, like on a pallet, and just go pick them up the mill place. But
Right. I just picked
Yep.
up 1,000 pounds of pig feed today.
you did.
Mm-hmm.
Now, did you go to the co-op for that, or would you go? Oh, you have dealer.
My feed dealer. Yeah.
Nice.
Me and Jason got the same feed dealer right now.
Yeah.
Now, what kind of grain is it?
It's organic.
What's the company, or is it a
uh,
local one or
New Country Organics.
a New Country Organics? Okay,
Yeah. They're in Virginia.
gotcha.
I think it's still like 4 hours or something away. I think
Yep.
they're kind of by Polyface.
Now, is the pig one that they make, is that like a pelletized, or what is that like?
No, it's just a mash.
Is it a mash? It's all ground up.
Yeah.
Okay, because we got one of theirs one time for goats, and it was still kind of, it wasn't a mash and it wasn't a pellet. It was like just individual ingredients, and the goats wanted nothing to do with it.
Yeah, so far, I mean, my animals seem to do well on it, and it smells good.
Yeah,
It does smell good, especially if you add hot water to it. It really resembles porridge. And the pigs seem to really like a hot breakfast in the morning. I've been using, because, the IBC tote's frozen, so I'm not going to soak feed with, ice. So I've been using my nice handy dandy hot water tap on the outside of the house.
Oh, yeah.
So it
I need to get one of those. Yeah.
Man, it like soaks the grain so much faster. It makes it like swell up super quick. Man, the pigs love it. Every time I do it, it's like, here, have some oatmeal, guys. Here you go. I feel like I'm giving them breakfast.
Yeah, that's great. No, yeah. You notice that smell when, you have some random feed that you maybe buy, and compared to that one, you're like, oh yeah, this stuff stinks.
And I think it makes a big difference on butchering day too, on the feed. If it's a good feed, their innards smell a lot nicer. Where if it's like the first time we raised pigs and we butchered them ourselves, we fed them conventional grain, and they just had like a stink to them. Not terrible, but there was like an odor to it. The next year we were feeding organic grain, and that smell was not there at all, and that was the only difference.
Yep, we've noticed that too. You can smell what they ate. That's weird.
And you wouldn't know that difference. You would think that that's the normal smell,
right?
If you never changed. Yeah.
Man. I wonder if the butchers, like, if they notice that.
Yeah, I don't know. You would think they would, but maybe they're just so used to smells.
Right.
It's all the same.
That's what I'm wondering. Like, it's just all the same to them now. But and also, if it's not your animal, you don't know what it fed or what it ate, so they might not even connect it if they're not like aware of that stuff.
Right.
You're just kind of going through the motion and doing your job.
Yeah.
So other than that, we're just getting ready for the cold snap this week. Feeding the animals extra hay, making sure everybody has extra bedding so they can stay warm. So.
Right on. There's currently snow on the ground there?
There is. Not a lot. We probably got, I'd say, 2 to 4 inches of snow. Everything's covered, but it'd be nice to have some more. If we're going to be cold like this, we might as well have like a foot or two on the ground.
Yeah.
Now, where you're at, do you guys still get lake effect snow? No, you don't?
No, we don't.
That was something I was wondering about, watching the weather, depending on the direction of, how the jet stream's flowing. It's, what is it? Buffalo, New York always gets buried in snow because they're right on the other side of the lake. I wondered if you guys get any of that or if you're too far away.
Yeah, we're too far away. We don't get that. I think it's Buffalo, and then I think like Champlain, like Burlington, Vermont, Lake Champlain, I think they get it over there. The lake affects snow sometimes. There are towns up here that they call snow belt, so I don't know exactly how it works, but there's like towns or areas that get hammered with snow. Like no other town will have much snow, and like these towns will get like 4 or 5 feet of snow every year, and they call it the snow belt. And their local towns are, probably within a half hour. So I don't know what makes a snow belt or how that works, but
oh man, heck no.
It's because that's where they keep the snow machines. That's why.
Right.
It's the snow belt. Oh heck,
snow belt.
No. I'm out. All right. So what else, guys? That's about it.
I wrecked the golf cart this weekend on ice. So the shadow of our house is our driveway, right? Well, the snow kind of melted and turned to ice, and we've just had this permanent glacier on our driveway right in front of our house, and it's been over a week, and that ice had not melted. Well, during this class, like I was up and down and up and down. So I'd hop on the golf cart, come up here and grab something, turn around, go back down. Well, Thursday, I think I talked about it on the last podcast. We broke the golf cart driving around in the snow. I don't know if I mentioned it or not, but snapped. I stripped out one of the wheel hubs, and you know the way a differential works. If one side just can spin free, then the other side has no power. So dead in the water. Well, I ordered new brake drums, you know, to replace it, and I basically did a brake job on this golf cart Thursday afternoon, right before Doug and Andy showed up. Replaced the broken part. You know, I did both sides because when you order it, it comes as a set. So I replaced both brake drums. Everything's working great. Hop on the golf cart, like first time, like I just adjusted the brakes to what I thought they needed, hopped on it. Man, it was perfect. It was better than brand new. Like the brakes were like the perfect amount. It was like, oh man, this is nice. Drove it. I think it was Friday I broke it. Was it the next day? Yeah, I think it was. Drove it around, did chores on Friday morning before people showed up. It was like, oh man, these brakes are great. Like I can slow down going down a hill because you know, it's a junky golf cart, so the brakes are always questionable anyways, but they were working really nice. Well, I think it was Friday. I drove up here to get something, turned around in the driveway and came back and, you know, was going to stop by the door. And I kind of braked a little too hard and I lost it. I was on the ice and it was like sliding on glass and I just about hit the house with the thing. It slid off the road down into the flower bed, which is like a 6 or 8 inch drop. Kind of made a crunch sound. I ran into the mini split that was right there. Like it was almost bad. Like I almost rolled the thing right there. And all the kids are up there and they're just like wide-eyed, like, what the heck is Dad doing? And like I was kind of teetering. I couldn't go anywhere. And so I had to have them come like put weight on one side so I could get it back on the road. And as soon as I touched the brakes, there was no brakes. It was like, what the heck? Yeah, no brakes to very little brakes. So yeah, fixed it and broke it the next day immediately. So I haven't taken it apart. But yeah, there's that.
Oh man,
That was the only other thing of interest.
the season finale, the workshop finale. All right, I think that's about it then.
Yes,
We'll leave it
sir.
at that. Yeah. So thank you guys for listening and watching this podcast. We really appreciate it, and hopefully you guys have an awesome week and an awesome day. Thank you guys, and we'll see you next time.
Have a good week. Hope everyone's staying warm with the cold weather that's coming through this week.
Yeah.
Yeah, no kidding. Later, everybody.